Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm going to be talking about the latest Predator film called The Predator. This film is directed by Shane Black, who did star in the first Predator movie as one of the military characters in that film. But since then, he's been a director and screenwriter of other movies, and so now he is directing this current Predator film just called The Predator. In this film, you guys, it's about two Predator ships that somehow landed on Earth. They were triggered somehow to land here. Nobody can really figure out why, but the government wants them gone. The military wants them gone. So they assemble kind of this throwaway, loony military group to kind of, that the military and the government are kind of okay sacrificing if something bad were to happen. So they kind of send them out to the forest and get rid of these two predator ships. One of these predators happens to be really big. It's kind of like the xenomorph of the predator race. It's very big, it's very large, very hard to take down, kind of like a xenomorph is in the Alien movies. While the other one is more kind of like the line of other predators, like we've seen in other predator movies. That's roughly human size, pretty strong nonetheless. Has a mask that can have heating sensibilities. It can sense heat. It can sense kind of where you're hiding in that kind of way if it's in battle or combat somehow. But anyway, this military group is out there to kind of kill off these predators before they get too far. One of these military men um, has a young boy who's on the autism spectrum, and he's very gifted. He's very good with numbers. He's very good with memorizing things. Um, and he gets a hold of one of these masks of the predator that's kind of been held off by the military and stuff like that. And so one of them is, I think, basically trying to look for that mask too. And so, because this boy has been exposed to this mask and has memorized a lot about it, they want to use his gift to kind of track down the predators, unlock passwords that they might not know and stuff like that, so they can get to the predator ship and kind of better understand the predators and stuff like that. So, this is something that happens over the course of this movie. They have to figure out how to take out these predators. Things happen, things don't go as planned, so they have to work around the things that don't go as planned and hopefully and potentially take out these predator creatures. So overall, guys, I liked this movie. I didn't love this movie, and that's really too bad because for the most part, I've enjoyed the Predator franchise for the most part. There's been some clunkers along the way. I wasn't a huge fan of Predator 2 with Danny Glover. Um, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, they are what they are. They're fine, but they're nothing amazing. So really, the first Predator movie and Predators with Adrian Brody were probably the two Predator films that I've enjoyed the most thus far. And maybe this new Predator film was right behind those. Um, so that's really not saying too much because it really doesn't take a lot to beat Alien versus Predator or its sequel. Um, but it's fine. It's not a great Predator movie, and like I said, it's not a bad Predator movie. But let's go over some positives and negatives as to why I feel this way. So for the positives of this movie, like I said, Shane Black was a very big part of this movie. He directed this movie and wrote it. He did have a co-writer as well for this movie, Fred Decker, I think his name was. Um, but I did like kind of what Shane Black brought to the table. What of his special touch was, what he personally wanted to do with a Predator movie, make it more fun, um, make it more kind of in your face, have tons of one-liners, really bring on the action, really bring on the blood and gore and stuff like that. So I thought his special touch with the Predator movie was pretty effective here. It worked for the most part. On the scenes that were interesting and kind of did something that the franchise hasn't done yet before, I really feel that really we kind of owe that to Shane Black because that's something that I think that he really was pushing for in this movie is to give us the things we love about Predator while also exploring new ideas with Predator. Um, not to really go into spoilers, but the film does kind of work off of hybrids. What is a predator? What is a predator mixed with something else? What is an ultimate predator? So all these ideas are explored in this movie, and like I said, they really have been done in previous Predator movies. So once again, I think Shane Black is kind of the person responsible for that. So huge thumbs up in that department of this movie. Keegan-Michael Key has a role in this movie from the Key and Peele skits. I really liked his character in this movie. I thought his one-liners were very funny. Even right away when the characters are introducing each other on this bus, Keegan-Michael Key basically says straight up that he's really not involved with the military anymore. He's just kind of around to kind of make military people laugh and to tell jokes. And that's very much what he is throughout this movie, just the man that tells jokes. And for the most part, they're pretty funny jokes too. So I really liked how his character was very involved in this film as far as humor was concerned. Olivia Munn has a character in this movie, and one thing I'm going to do for the positives here that I really feel kind of people are kind of beating her up for in this movie is I actually kind of liked her character in this movie. I really liked how she was kind of this biologist who was kind of there to better understand what these predators were doing and what they're after. She really is very independent. She really doesn't want to be around these really creepy military guys that are just kind of there to kind of just look at her and say comments about her body that she probably doesn't want them to say. But like I said, I liked her character. I know some people are picking on her in this about this her role in this movie, but I really thought she did good. I really thought she really did something that was pretty fun for a Predator character to do. Like I said, was really interested in the biology of these Predator creatures and kind of helping them better understand what they were doing and stuff. So, like I said, I thought she added a lot to this movie. I liked her character. A lot of people are beating her up online about her not being so great in this movie, but I really liked her character, so I'm going to give her a big thumbs up. I really liked her character in this movie. The ultimate predator that's introduced in this movie, like I said, kind of the xenomorph of predators. I liked the ultimate predator character. I thought it was a nice addition to the franchise. I like how there's predators now that kind of give other predators a run for their money. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're harder to take down. The weapons that might be easy to take a regular predator out easily are much harder to use against this ultimate predator. So I liked how there's significant challenges that people will face both going up against this character. So really like this new character. Huge thumbs up again to Shane Black for introducing this to the franchise. A cool character to introduce to the franchise. Jacob Tremblay from The Room, for those who might remember that with Brie Larson. Jacob Tremblay, who played her child in that movie, he has a role in this movie. And once again, I liked his character. He's a gifted young man. Plays a significant role when it comes to unlocking doors and understanding the predators and getting access to things that maybe the government and these military men might have trouble accessing by themselves. So I liked how his character was very helpful in that way. So cool character for him to play, cool character for him to add to his film resume. So I liked his character a lot too. There's also tons of cool Predator moments in this movie. There really is some cool moments where if it's not the ultimate Predator, if it's just another Predator running around on Earth, I really feel like the Predator characters get tons of cool moments to do in this movie. So if you like Predator moments in Predator movies, the Predator does offer that for you. For my negatives of the Predator and why I feel like there's been other and better Predator films before this movie, I thought the small town / city setting really doesn't work for this. And I've been saying, for those who know me about how I feel about the Predator franchise in general, I think Predator works the best in a jungle setting. So the first movie, the Predator planet setting in Predators with Adrian Brody, I thought that worked well for a Predator movie. Predator 2, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and now this Predator film have all used some type of small town city setting, and I really don't think it works for Predator very well. I think it's kind of a cheesier setting to use. I don't think the Predator's camouflage ability works as well in these kind of settings. I personally just don't like Predator films that have this setting. Like I said, jungle settings work the best for a Predator movie. Even that temple setting in Alien vs. Predator, the first one of those, worked better than the small town / city setting. Don't really like it. Doesn't really work in this movie, and I really didn't. This movie definitely proved once again that doesn't really work well for a Predator movie. So that aspect of the film I really didn't care for. The Predators in 2010 introduced Predator dogs and like different kind of Predator creatures, and they worked fine in that movie. Predator dogs are brought up again in this movie, and they're used again in this movie. And this time around, they're just kind of useless. They're just kind of there. They're kind of just brought along for the ride. Really didn't care for that this time around. They really didn't kind of need it. They could have been written out completely, and that would have completely worked fine with me. So Predator dogs didn't really work well in this movie. May have worked well in a different Predator film. Didn't really work well in this movie. Some of the CGI I thought was very weak and unfinished in this movie. There was just several shots in this movie where the CGI really didn't look polished enough, really looked unfinished. There's a lot of shots here that really look like they're from 10 plus years ago as far as where CGI is today. A lot of tons of weak, unfinished CGI footage here that really could have used more cleaning up before this film was released, I thought. I thought the third act of this film was also very sloppy. There's just so much going on, so many loose ends, so many unexplained things. And one thing I feel the Predator franchise keeps doing that I feel if more Predator films are made that they should start doing is to kind of keep up with the ideas they start. So if you're going to have the Predator franchise introduce a Predator planet, keep the Predator planet, keep using the Predator planet. It helps build the world and the franchise. If you're going to introduce Ultimate Predators or Predator dogs or any of that kind of stuff, keep those things. You need to keep those things around for other Predator movies for the franchise as a whole to work. And I feel like the third act alone of this movie really kind of represents that idea that the Predator franchise needs to really ground what the Predator franchise should be and what it can do. Because if you have too many things going at once, it's just going to feel sloppy, and the third act of this film really suffers from that idea, I thought. I also thought the ending of this film was very strange. It ends on a very strange note in this movie. I can't really get into spoilers, but the ending of this film, without spoiling anything, really doesn't feel like an ending, and I really don't know what to think of it. I don't know if they're setting up for a sequel or if they're trying to introduce an idea of some kind, but the ending of this film was just very strange, very out of left field. The ending really didn't work for me in this movie. And that goes into my other negative point, and I think, my last point as well for this review. I thought there was just too many loose ends in this movie. There's just so many things where they introduce an idea and they never go through with it. They introduce another idea and they never go through with it. There's certain characters where you're not sure if they're dead or missing or hurt or whatever the case may be. There's just so many loose ends in this movie that really kind of make it hard to come to conclusions with certain things in this movie. So overall, I'm going to give The Predator an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good movie. It's just not a great movie. There's just so many things that wear it down that keep it from being a great movie. But like I said, there is just enough good things there for maybe I would say rent it at Redbox maybe. So it's a good movie, not a great movie. If you like the Predator franchise, maybe give this film a chance. If you really don't care about Predator at all, I think not seeing this movie is probably not going to hurt you too much. So 8 out of 10 for me. It's a good movie, just not a great movie.